Hey guys, Heavy Arms 45 here. Um, it's Friday the 13th in December. I guess this is gonna be an unlucky Christmas coming up, but that's besides the point. Y'all here to see if I have another video for y'all, and I do. I I went back and I was looking at some of the animes that I have, and I checked out one that I haven't looked at in a long time, and that's Outlaw Star. Now, I feel like, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the Outlaw Star has a very cult classic type thing. It was big, like you have Cowboy Bebop and all this stuff, the idea of space cowboys and all that. And Outlaw Star, I think, had a cult following because I know I still sit around the house every once in a while and I'll just say Pagaba Simfa, Pagaba Simfa, Pagaba Simfa. Just like them spellcasters were saying on there. And it was a cool show to me. But going back and looking at it again, you know, it was kind of slow. Like, um, you had a lot of stuff that actually went to the story, but there were a lot of episodes that I think was filler, which I wish. The problem I felt like with Outlaw Star was pacing. The You had moments that like we were trying to get to a point and there was no point given or even a try to create a point, it seems like, and then we speed up to we find out what the galactic ley line is and we figure out what it does, and that's it. We're done. It kind of like just dies off there, and it really takes off, like I said, the pace of the show to where basically the galactic ley line is supposed to be the goal whole thing. And I've heard different reasons on why they did this. One reason, of course, is that it was that they were told that they're not getting another season, so they decided to go ahead and end the story, and that's why they shortchanged everything and got to basically the nitty gritty of it all. Which leads me to a question I have for you. If Outlaw Star was Should Outlaw Star be brought back? I've heard that the company that originally created Outlaw Star went out of business, but we've had a lot of people pick up stuff like, um, if I remember correctly, Helsing Ultimate, not Helsing Ultimate, when it was in the process of being made, its company went out of business to where it had to be picked up by another company to continue the production so that we could get the end of the story. Um, don't know if that's a, I don't know if that's the same case that would happen with Outlaw Star. But if you came back with Outlaw Star, stuff that, and we're big on reboots. Like I would love for them, and I think I've heard stories of people saying they were going to reboot Yu Yu Hakusho, and some people I've heard said that it's great the way it is. Um, and I can agree with Yu Yu Hakusho. I guess I would, if somebody wanted to do Yu Yu Hakusho, I would want a new paint job. If someone decided to do a rebuff of Outlaw Star, I would have a couple recommendations, I guess. If it was me doing this. Um I I liked the characters. All the characters were fine. Um I would probably have more issue with the idea of the I think he went through the Say 13 or something like that, which were like a group of highly trained killers that no one was supposed to be able to be and he was able to defeat just about all of them with little with a good amount of effort, but he was able to defeat a majority of them. So it's I would like for them, and like I said, I would like for them to, if they were to reboot it, I would want them to work on the pacing because you know the Galactic Ley Line we could probably work up to in about 2 seasons. Hell, I'm looking at Fire Force. They're having somewhere they're trying to get you to the goal. Even Black Clover and Naruto is trying to get you to the goal. And you're nowhere near the goal. But they're keeping the story, even if it's filler or whatever you want to call it. Because some episodes might feel like filler, but they actually have a point to the story. Which is why, you know, if it goes to the main story, it would be interesting. But, you could focus more on Gene finding himself, Gene being able to fly without getting space sickness. Him not completely, but find some way to overcome it because watching the show all over again, I realized that he had space sickness because he saw his dad die, which I know is a traumatic experience. Having somebody that suddenly die in front of you, it's tragic and it kind of leaves a mark on you, which is very understandable. But I don't see like him. And like I said, I don't have a problem with the characters. The pacing was one of the problems I had because I feel like they rushed stuff. They could go a little bit more details in how Jean and Melfina started finding interest in each other, because in the end it was like, yeah, they like each other, and it was like going from the beginning to the end. He didn't even see her as being human for the most part. He was like, she's an android, she's a artificial being. So developing to where he saw her more as a person that she is, because I think there was like one episode after he's been like all nice and sweet to her that he like is solid on that, I believe you're android, you're just a machine to be used, and he tried to take advantage of her. And it wasn't really dealt with very well. Like in that same episode, he went out and fought somebody that he almost died to, but it's weird. And I feel like that's the main problem I have, just the pacing. If you have a story that is starting off, and I won't say it started off fairly strong, but it's somewhere in the middle that it started losing itself. Like when it first started off with him and Hilda and all the rest of the crew. You had to do the story. It got you interested in who the Katara was. This female samurai that fights people with just a boken. It made you interested in the characters. But the more you get into it, it's more we're filling up time, because it was kind of like a slice of life in a way. But they were supposed to be outlaws. Like I guess in a way I would look for when we say outlaw, I'm looking for them to maybe go out, do a couple bounty jobs, um, make it a little money. Because if you look at it, the whole time he was talking about making it big, the Outlaw Star was a well-known ship after it was a part of that race and everything like that. But it wasn't Gene Starwind never made it big. Um, which I guess in a way disappointed me. He wasn't a successful character. Um, which in that way made me feel like the story wasn't complete. Which for a while I was like, okay, so what happens in season two? And there was no season two. There was nothing else to the story. It was like that's in the story. And I like a I like watching an anime that when you get to the end of it, it makes you wish you had more of it, but it sold up the story that it had completely. And I it's like eating a meal. I ate a lot of Outlaw Star in my head, but I didn't feel complete with it. I didn't feel like, okay, this is a decent end to it. I felt like I went to McDonald's trying to get me a 3 course meal, and it got shoved into me, and then I'm still hungry. I wanted more details, and I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know who to blame for it, but I do know I would want to just put it on pacing. If they were able to, they had a strong beginning, like I said, and the end was fairly strong, like the last few episodes when they were getting to the end. But the middle had bored me. I almost found myself dozing off while watching it. So, and I know this sounds like this is in a way a review of Outlaw Star, but also it's the idea of, you know, all out of all the stuff that we have that people are trying to reboot, would Outlaw Star be one of the ones that is worth rebooting? And that's my question, y'all. Um, I I believe that it could be resurrected and be just as good as any anime we have out today. Um, but I would love to hear your opinion because everybody has one. And thank you for listening, and I'll catch you later.